and the discussion you've been awaiting, Jallianwalla Bagh to Punjab, Punjabis, Punjabiyat. Kishwar Desai, Navjot Singh Siddhu and Kanwar Sandhu in conversation. We invite you please to come up to the stage. The new Khushwant Singh book, Punjab, Punjabis, Punjabiyat, covers aspects of Punjab ranging from history and geography to religion, politics, culture and more. We have a high-powered panel to discuss this book, recently edited by Khushwant Singh's daughter, Mala Dayal. Kishwar Desai is author of Jallianwalla Bagh and chair of the Arts and Cultural Heritage, which has just set up the world's first partition museum. The quintessential Punjabi, Navjot Singh Siddhu, known for his quick footwork at the batting crease and his quick repartee on television, currently serves as the Minister for Local Government, Tourism, Cultural Affairs and Museums in the state of Punjab. Engaging with the panelists is Kanwar Sandhu. Kanwar is a Punjab MLA, former editor of the North Indian editions of the Indian Express and the Hindustan Times, with a keen interest in sports and human rights. Punjab and its culture was very important to Khushwant Singh, and let us see if we can envisage the future from the past and the present of this rich region from the discussion that follows.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to have a very interesting session. As already introduced, we have two very eminent panelists with us, Kishwar Desai. Other than what has been said of her, let me also add that a lot of us in Chandigarh and this region knew her as Kishwar Rosha. That is how, as a young girl, she was known, and she had started off with the Indian Express as a reporter, and later, I think she launched the first Punjabi television channel, Tara TV, and then she went places, and the book that we will discuss today is written by her, Jallianwalla Bagh 1919, the real story. This is just the manuscript with us, and the book should be out in the next couple of days. We will also be discussing Sardar Khushwant Singh's book, which is edited by Mala Dayal, Punjab, Punjabi and Punjabiyat. And it's a very interesting subject, and I think should engage each one of us, because I see most Punjabis here in this gathering, and a lot of them from this region. And I don't think we could have had a better person than Navjot Siddhu to be talking of Punjab, Punjabi and the Punjabiyat, because he looks like a Punjabi. He walks like a Punjabi. He talks like a Punjabi.
Party, that which needs to be proven is not worth a toss.
And we'll be discussing, and I think it's also important that he's here with us, because we're going to start from the Jallianwalla Bagh and trace it to the Punjab of today. He has been representing Amritsar as an MP and as an MLA for God knows how many years now. I think even he must have forgotten how many times he has represented Amritsar. And now he's a minister in Punjab and the Minister for Culture Affairs. So it's important that he's here with us today. And then also we will try and discuss the future, as was said, that we'll try and envisage the future from the present and the past. Kishwar's book is very interesting because though it comes almost 100 years after the tragedy, but it brings a lot of new facts before us. So, in fact, I'm quite tempted to reveal some of those new facts and some of the fallacies that she dispels, but I'll leave it to her. So what we'll do is, I think we'll ask each of them to talk for about on the subjects that they wish to talk for about 10 minutes each, and then we'll engage them with questions, and then we'll open the session. Kishwar, can you tell us what really made you attempt this book, which is the subject is almost 100 years old, and what are the difficulties that you must have faced, because there are apparently no survivors of the tragedy. So you must have been handicapped by the fact that there are not much fresh evidence. What are the new facts that you have been able to bring out?
Thank you, Kamarji and Siddhuji. As always, great to be with two very well-known personalities of Punjab, and thank you for having this session and for including me with one of our greatest writers. I'm very honored that we're going to be discussing these two books in the same panel. The reason why I decided to write this book was, Kanwar, what you mentioned was that, you know, we are at a point in history where it is 100 years, but we actually do not know the full facts about Jallianwalla Bagh, because so far most of the history of that period, unfortunately, especially about this particular incident, has been written by Western historians, you know, and it has been written mostly from the point of view of, you know, things like who was General Dyer, how did he plan this, his biography. They give too much emphasis to things which I feel are quite irrelevant because of the situation that had been created in Punjab in those horrible 3 to 4 months just prior to Jallianwalla Bagh, the massacre, and what happened afterwards. And indeed, I was shocked because there were so many things that I didn't know. You know, for example, the bombing which took place in Gujranwala, the whippings, the public whippings, the public hangings, everything which was done to the people of Punjab. They were made to crawl, they were stripped, they were tortured, and there are so many things which happened, particularly to the people in Amritsar. Amritsar was under siege. You know, it was people there were trapped in that old city. They could not leave without passes. They had to beg the British in order to get even simple things for themselves, simple kinds of security for themselves, for their families. Many of them, all respectable people, you can imagine all the doctors, lawyers, etc. They were all jailed. And of course, we know about the infamous crawling order, etc. The reason I took up this particular book, actually, apart from all these things, was that we came across, when we were working on the Partition Museum, a set of photographs which I had never seen before. These were photographs of undivided India, and they were dated 1919, and they showed all the buildings that had been burnt during the riots, which took place mostly just before and after Jallianwalla Bagh. I was unaware of this. I didn't know that this was such a huge uprising, because this was the response to Gandhi's Satyagraha, you know, against the Rowlatt Acts, which were being imposed, which are very cruel acts under which people could be locked up without any recourse to justice. And the people of Punjab were so strong. I mean, they stood up to all kinds of atrocities. They fought back, and the repression was equally strong. Why has this story not been told in entirety? I can only say that it was one clever way for the British to get out of it, by putting the blame on one man. They did not want to say that the system was rotting, that there was of course, we all know about the Lieutenant Governor O'Dwyer at that time. He had a terrible, cruel system that was manifested at that time in Punjab, where, it was a kind of a free-for-all, especially after martial law was imposed. And I want to say one thing, which I didn't realize, was that they had already declared a state of war in Amritsar on the 11th. The massacre happened on the 13th, but actually they had already declared war on Amritsar, the British, on the 11th itself, 11th of April. Therefore, the army started coming in, all kinds of repressive measures started taking place, etc. And on the 10th, people had reacted because Gandhiji was arrested. He was not allowed to enter Punjab. And Kichlu and Satyapal, who were the local leaders in Amritsar, were tricked and jailed. So people were protesting. They were fired upon by the British. More than 20 to 30 people in Amritsar were killed, even on the 10th of April. And after that, in retaliation, they burnt down a few buildings and killed 5 Europeans. Because they killed those 5 Europeans, the kind of repression they had to undergo over the next 3 months was horrible. The price for the lives of those 5 Europeans, according to the British, was equal. Each one of them, at least 1,000 had to be killed. So it was like it was totally pre-planned, which is what I discovered, the way it was done. And Dyer was actually brought in to execute this. It was not that he walked in and he had this brainwave. It was all very carefully planned. And then what happened afterwards was a systematic, it's not that they stopped there. The people who attended the Jallianwalla Bagh conference, where, they were having a sort of a meeting. On the 13th. Hello?
Another mic?
All the sound is gone.
Hello? I think there is that sound.
Yeah.
Hello. Just stand up and shout. No. I think Siddhu ji will be better than you at that. Hello.
This works.
Hello.
Can you hear us at the back if we talk like this? Yes. Should we make an attempt?
बता दीजिए
It's on now.
The system is on now. You can try, please.
Just no. Just 2 minutes more.
Only 2 minutes more. Kishwar, 2 minutes more. Has it come?
Hello. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just very quickly wrap up in case this is sabotage by the British, I can see a lady there shaking her head very vigorously. So basically, what I discovered was that there was a lot of information. This is a story of undivided India. That was again something very interesting, because the martial law which was imposed, under which people were tortured, whipped, made to crawl, dishonored in so many ways, starved, beaten. You can just give the whole list of things which were, they were not even allowed to walk two abreast. If you were caught walking two people side by side, you were likely to be hauled up and you could be whipped publicly. The other thing which you had to do was, whenever you saw General Dyer, you had to salute him. And if he didn't like the way you saluted him, there was a particular way. You would be dragged off to the police station till you learned how to salute him. You could be again tortured, whipped, brutalized, kept out there. People were hung for these kind of offenses. I mean, it is ridiculous, the kind of breakdown that took place under the martial law which was imposed upon Punjab. So basically, when I started reading this, and of course, as I said, there was bombing which took place. They wanted to bomb Amritsar. That was the first time that there were aircraft. You must remember, this is just at the end of the World War. So the aircraft were available to the Lieutenant Governor, O'Dwyer, who had this brainwave that why don't we just use the aircraft to bomb people, so that then they will be terrorized, because they wanted to terrify everybody. You could not kill a European. The moment you do this, you are likely to suffer all of these for all these things. So Gujranwala was bombed. And this was bombing which was so random. It was meant to be targeting people who were holding meetings. But the guy would just fly down. He would see a bunch of people. He bombed even the Khalsa school. He bombed outside. There were just groups of women walking. He bombed that, those people. It was just anybody, anywhere. So the kind of facts that I started coming across appalled me. So why did we focus for so many years just on General Dyer? As we now realize, it was the British way of trying to tell us it was only this one guy who ran amok. Actually, we are very good people. We are totally, on your side. We look after you. Our justice system works. Everything works. But it did not. It had completely broken down. So the reason I wrote this book was also because I was very angry, very upset. And I felt that why don't we share this? And of course, as Siddhuji knows, we have also put up an exhibition, because we found that there was so much material that was not known, including the martial law orders. You must read those orders. They are up right now in the Partition Museum, and some of them will really scare you. They took away the cycles. They would not allow people to own cycles. They took away the motor cars because they wanted to actually destroy the middle class. Why? Because it was the middle class, the professionals, the doctors, the lawyers, who were now rising against the British. And they were very scared that this would spread to the soldiers who had just come back from the World War, and they were an organized group, and therefore the British had memories of 1857. It was not going to happen, because the Satyagraha movement was very different from the mutiny of 1857. But the Lieutenant Governor was in a hurry because he was leaving at that time. His term was coming to an end. He did not want to leave on a note where, people, his kind, 5 of the British had been killed on his watch. And he wanted to teach a lesson to Punjab. And it was one of the most cruel lessons that was that has ever been imposed, and a terrible one. And I do hope you'll read the book.
But Kishwar, tell me, who was really to blame? Was it the governor, or was it Brigadier General Dyer? Because from your book it comes out that there were a lot of people, including the Deputy Commissioner, 2 other commanding officers, which included Major MacDonald and Morgan, who perhaps did not want such harsh measures.
Yes.
So who really was the man behind it?
Undoubtedly, it was Lieutenant Governor O'Dwyer, because it was, as I said, his term was coming to an end. He did not want to leave on a note where people were saying there are disorders happening in Punjab. Mind you, the disorders were happening elsewhere as well, because there was another thing we must remember, that when the Satyagraha movement took place, and this was Gandhi's first large Satyagraha movement after he came back from Africa. So when the movement took place, there was rebellion not only in Punjab after his arrest, there was also in Ahmedabad, there was also in Bombay. These disorders took place right up to Burma, because the Satyagraha was right across India. But the worst repression and oppression took place only in Punjab. Why? Can I just answer that very quickly? It was because Punjab was very key to the British. They supplied the cannon fodder. They supplied the soldiers. So when we say, oh, India's contribution to the world war, we must also remember, please read my book, how these men were recruited. It was not like they were all coming and saying, I want to be in the British Army. They were actually, there were large jagirs given to people who used to go out and literally recruit these men. They were paid to recruit.
Can you, Kishwar, also share with us the kind of a reputation that Brigadier General Dyer enjoyed before he was brought to Amritsar?
Well, I think he was not a very highly regarded, officer. He, in fact, studied right here in that Bishop Cotton School. He was from Simla. He was right from here. His dad owned a brewery and, that kind of thing. So we have to remember, anybody from British Cotton, Bishop Cotton, please, please do look at your school's history with a little more, dismay. So he joined the army, but he was never regarded, as I said, as a very competent officer. And also because he came from the tradesman class, he was not also given his promotions the way he should have. He was not even a brigadier general. That is the most ridiculous thing that I found. He was given a temporary rank, which he had asked for. And he remained a colonel. Actually, he was a colonel when he was forcibly made to quit the army. So there were many things that were in this story which were popularized by the British, and we could sort of swallow it and say it was only one maverick who did this. Actually, it was a much larger conspiracy against Punjab.
Kishwar, what kind of a role do you see of the leaders of that time, the Indian leaders of that time, which included Kichlu, Satyapal, and there's a character called Hansraj. Was he actually a plant, or was he a kind of a turncoat?
I think it's difficult to prove whether he was a plant or a turncoat, because they very conveniently, as soon as the massacre had taken place, suddenly this guy turns approver, and the next we know, before the committees can be set up to investigate what happened during the massacre, he is given a commission and sent off to Mesopotamia. And unless I can get a quick ticket to go to Mesopotamia, I'm not going to be able to find out. But the fact is, he was very key to the planning. And throughout, as you said, rightly, that there is a very great suspicion. And if you piece all the evidence together, that the British had him in their pay, because he was the one man, even though despite the fact he's on the dais, he constructs a dais in Jallianwalla Bagh where the speeches are given, and then he very conveniently goes under it when the bullets start firing. Nobody else knows about this. No one else has that lucky escape that he does. And then later on, the British are very good at, rewarding him and things like that. So certainly he was very key to setting up the meeting, because he was the one who organized that particular meeting that took place at Jallianwalla Bagh.
Okay. Now, Kishwar, since you've been based in Amritsar because of the museum for some time, a lot of people tend to compare, even Sir Khushwant Singh in his book has talked about it, tend to compare the 1919 tragedy with what happened in 1984, the military action at Darbar Sahib. Do you see any comparisons, any similarities?
Well, certainly one of the things which astonished me was that was the first time the bombing around that area, around Golden Temple, was considered, because the British wanted to bomb Amritsar. And there was a person who stood up, and it's in the book, who said that please don't do this, because if you bomb the Golden Temple, you will lose the Sikhs. And losing the Sikhs was the nightmare for the British, because then they would lose their martial races, as the Sikhs were called, and that's why they were very important to them, and that's why they didn't do it. So there are some similarities, and it is a tragedy, really, that all of this takes place within a stone's throw of the Golden Temple. So the treatment of the people, yes, as happened in 1984, but of course 1984 there are many other things, because there were people inside the Golden Temple who were not, who were also terrorists and things like that. Here the people were not terrorists, yet they were treated like terrorists. They were made to do things which demeaned them completely, so that their spirit would be broken. And this is the wonderful thing about the Punjabis, that nobody, including my own family that was there, nobody spoke about it. Just like they did not speak about the partition, they picked up the pieces and they carried on. Nobody really went out of the way and said, this is what happened to me. So those stories actually, I have got quite a few of them in this book, the eyewitness accounts. We were very fortunate that the Indian National Congress, as well as other members at that time, including Gandhiji, he headed that committee. He was not part of the Congress at the time when he called for the Satyagraha, but he was part of the subcommittee that went around interviewing people. And so those eyewitness accounts are chilling, because that is the first time you hear of what people actually went through. And these accounts these are of undivided India. So they are accounts from Lahore, from Gujranwala, from Kasauli, from, yeah.
Thank you, Kishwar. The other similarity that I did see was that in 1919, this tragedy happened when people had gathered for the auspicious occasion of the Baisakhi. And the 1984, unfortunately, that happened when people had gathered, a lot of people had gathered because of the martyrdom day of Guru Arjan Dev. So I think that is what led to a lot of the toll being very, very high. Navjot, since you're the culture minister now, and next year happens to be the centenary of the Jallianwalla tragedy. So what are the kind of plans that you and your government have for the centenary?
Paji, good intentions die unless they're executed. There are 250 plans that you can make. But if the government doesn't give you permission to execute those plans, because the Jallianwalla Bagh Trust is headed by the Prime Minister of India, 6 or 7 very elite people, you could call them the top bureaucrats or the top politicians that the country's ever seen. Now you don't have, as Punjab government, you don't have permission to touch the Jallianwalla Bagh, or to revamp it in any which way, or to resurrect it, because for the last 8 to 10 years, not a single penny has been spent on the Jallianwalla Bagh. The Honourable Chief Minister told me that we need to prevent and prepare rather than repent and repair. Time is like money, you can only spend it once, and it doesn't wait for anyone. So we've just got 6 months left for the 100 years centenary. And because the Indian government was in deep slumber, even Kumbhakarna would wake after 6 months. They've been fast asleep for the last 8 years, and I wrote to them.
So do you mean to say that you at your level, the government can do nothing about it?
No, you can't. See, because the trust gives you the permission. We've written to them for the last 3-4 months. I've written 4 letters, which he knows, that we already have 30 or 40 odd crores. That it's not about the money, it's about the passion that you exude for the Jallianwalla Bagh. And let me tell you, when I took up as culture minister, I noticed certain things that I'd been noticing for a long, long time now. See, the Jallianwalla Bagh, whenever you enter it, it's a solemn occasion. But when you look at almost 80% of the people who come there, they come there for a picnic. Goodness gracious me. I mean, it's like going to a funeral and laughing over there. How can you do that? I mean, there are about 80% or 90% of the people who walk into the Jallianwalla Bagh and they don't have a clue that what happened. They've never connected to those roots. So it is our duty, and the best way to discharge a duty is to dispense with it. It is our duty to tell them that this is what happened. These are the martyrs. These are their names. This is how this is how we will honor them. And this is how, you know, brick by brick, our independence was built on sacrifice. And that we have failed to do. Let me tell you, there cannot be any fruit without the root. We have not even gone close to our roots, and those who come to the Jallianwalla Bagh are unaware of all this that she said. I mean, I would know about 60%, but when 90% walk into the Jallianwalla Bagh without knowing the history of the Jallianwalla Bagh, it's a sad state of affairs.
Absolutely, it is a sad state of affairs. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to also discuss the broader subject, which is Punjab, Punjabis and Punjabiyat, the book written by Khushwant Singh and edited by Mala Dayal. I wish Mala was here because she would have been an ideal panelist. To set the tone, what is Punjab? How was Punjabi language enriched? And what exactly is Punjabiyat? I think this has been summed up beautifully by the famous poet from Punjab, Surjit Patar. He had said, I'm sorry, I'll have to break into Punjabi once in a while because you're discussing Punjab and Punjabi. ये पंजाब कोई निरा जोग्राफिया नहीं, ये पंजाब कोई निरा जोग्राफिया नहीं, ये एक गीत प्रीत ते इतिहास भी है, ये एक गीत प्रीत ते इतिहास भी है, ये एक फलसफा सोच ते एहसास भी है. Not just a piece of geography, it's a feeling. You have to feel, get that feeling only if you have that, if you can think about what Punjabiyat is. Navjot, before partition, Punjab was one. And now today we have two Punjabs. There is the Lenda Punjab, the Punjab on the sunset side, which is the Punjab and Pakistan, and the Punjab, which is the Chadda Punjab, which is our Punjab, which is on the sunrise side. Now there are two different nationalities, yet there is an affinity of sorts. You just been to Pakistan. What kind of affinity you think still prevails between the two Pakistans? Two Punjabs.
Well, if I go to Tamil Nadu, Paji, I don't understand the language. There's just one or two words that I can, Vadakam, or, you know, one or two. Not that I don't like that food, I still can take idlis, but not for a long time. You know, that culture is totally different. But if I go to Pakistan, the language is the same. You abuse 10 times in English and you abuse once in Punjabi, you know, it overpowers everything. You know, oh, zariyan ote zabardast ne. Paji galan de taadiyan maar rahe ho, tusi kamal kari jane. You know that, you know, Ovi ote saying the true things only when you spoke Punjabi, right? So now I'll tell you a small story about the indomitable spirit which is Punjabiyat. You know, it's about, you know, the distance from earth to heaven is not a matter of altitude. It's a matter of attitude. There's a certain attitude which is attached to a Punjabi. You know, there's a certain resolve, resilience, and, you know, the never say die spirit. And I will actually, well, how do I say, captivate in a small story that I, you know, myself experienced. Now, everybody knows about Kapil Dev. Everybody knows about Kapil Dev, you know, great Indian all-rounder. No better person to actually radiate the spirit of Punjabiyat. Now, Kapil Paji knew almost everything. He could do everything with the cricket bat or the ball, great all-rounder. But he would murder the English language. He didn't know how to speak, you know, Punjabi. Look, the Vedas say, सोने में सुगंध नहीं, गन्ने में फूल नहीं, चंदन में फल नहीं होता, राजा दीर्घजीवी नहीं होता, विद्वान के पास धन नहीं होता, किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, कहीं जमीन तो कहीं आसमान नहीं मिलता. So it's not, ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਦੋ ਭਾਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਠੋਕ ਦੋ ਤਾੜੀ ਕੋਈ ਪਰਵਾਹ ਨਾ so he had this limitation, I would say, the limitation. So he sets this world record. He takes 9 wickets and there's total euphoria. The whole world, in those days when we played a test match, there was this rest day that we used to have, right? And the world is euphoric. Almost 250 odd journalists from different countries, from West Indies, from Australia, from all those countries are actually converging on to Ahmedabad, and the rest day is coming. Kapil Paj is pompous and he's at his best. Matlab paate khaan bade hue Paji. And suddenly the invite comes that there has to be a press conference with Mr. Kapil Dev. And it's got to be in English, obviously. I mean, So I walk up to him. I say, Paji, ke kal press conference hai uthe. I'll give you a better option. Meenakshi Shishadri di picture lagi hai. Hero. मैं कहा चलो तुसी हीरो आप उत्थे चलिए बच बचा जावांगे क्योंकि उत्थे बाउंसर बजने हैं अंग्रेजी आनी है. So he looks at me and he says, सरदार कमला हो गया. मैं कहा नहीं भाजी. कहना मैं वट कर दूं. This is exactly how he says. If I actually distort it, then I'm not doing justice to Paji. And only pits on the air. कहना मैं वट कर दूं. And he knew nothing about English. His English, let me tell you, this is exactly how Yashpal Sharma and Kapil Paji, they sailed in the same boat, the Titanic. When it came to the English language, you look at the competition that they'll have, right? So we are traveling in a bus. Chal bhai Yash, teri meri competition. Lao ji. A for apple, B for balla, C for kutta, D for dollar. This is how they competed. Goodness gracious me. So, we start off and मैं कहा पाजी कल बाउंसर बजने हैं. What कर दूं कोई गल नहीं. And I'm thinking you don't murder a man who's trying to commit suicide. So I said okay, fine, fair call. We go there, no problem. We walked up. There was a small podium. 150 people that could have actually withstood the capacity of the hall, and there were about 300 people of them. ਤੂੜਿਆ ਪਿਆ ਸੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੁੱਕੜ ਤੂੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਉਦਾਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਦਾਂ. This is original Punjabi. This is what a Punjabi stands for, right? And the ordeal began. मैं कह ला भी मर गए पाजी हुण नहीं बजदे. And everywhere I looked, suit boot, hi, see, मैं कहा hi तो मर गया काम, हो गया काम. As a Punjabi, I was thinking कि काले अखरां वाले कार्ड छपण के दुखी दे देना सूचित किया जाता है भाजी चढ़ के घोड़ी. And the questions of fire. Suddenly, the ordeal began. Mr. Kapil Dev. Hanji, he says from there. Why is it that a country of 1 billion cannot produce another fast bowler? Why is it that India cannot produce another fast bowler, Mr. Kapil Dev? Why is it that dibbly-dobbly Madan Lal is bowling from the other end? Khatak, 6th or 7th time, but the same question is asked. Mr. Kapil Dev, why can't we produce another Kapil Dev? So he gets up. Ladies and gentlemen, I go, lady the ai koi nahi paji. Well, I mean, takke na angrezi. You see, I'm sitting there, Ladies and gentlemen, and the question is again, Mr. Kapil Dev, why can't we produce another Kapil Dev? So he looks at them, smiles. He says, my mummy is 62 years old, my papa is dead, you can't produce another Kapil Dev. Goodness gracious me, you can't. Good Lord, I ran out and then I had nothing to say after that, and I came back, I said, Paji. So he says, Sardara, koi sawal aur puch raha, main marna hai, Paji, kehne sawal puch ke. Good.
No, Navjot,
this is Punjabiyat, I'm telling you now.
A little more serious note.
Okay, I'll come on a serious note, right? I'll come on a serious note. You take me on whatever tangent you take me, I'll go on that tangent, right?
Now, on a more serious note, you just been to Pakistan. Now, there are two questions. One is, do you think this affinity that exists, prevails now, that has persisted so far, you think it will continue to the next generation? One. Second, your Jaffi there, I think it has been much talked about. Do you regret having done what you did?
My Jaffi was no conspiracy. It was no Rafael deal. Good Lord. I mean, a Jaffi, I mean, a Punjabi will... See, I did a Jaffi with you. Is it a conspiracy or what? I mean, if somebody tells me that Baba Nanak da langa, Kartarpur Sahib da langa, asi kholan nu tiyar hai. And, they've reiterated, they've said it 400 times, that asi tiyar ha, Kartarpur Sahib da langa kholan li, te Maharaj, main Jaffi with Papi paunga dwara. What are you talking about? I mean, for me, this is the only way I can express my affection. Huh? And I care two hoots about people who do dirty politics and that. I care two hoots. Goodness gracious me, I've lived my life on my own terms. Almost all absurdity of conduct arises when people imitate others. And you'll have to take that positive step forward. What have we gained in the last 60 years with this warfare? Tell me what? What did Punjab gain with the partition? What is Punjab? Punjab is Punjab. Panj Darya. Do udhar vagde hai, do idhar vagde hai, te ravi billi masi. Hanji, te Punjab kaada reh gaya? Kitthon tusi kehdi gall karde ho Punjab di? Kinne vandiya Punjab? Right? Punjab to baad Himachal chalaya gaya, Haryana chalaya gaya, sab chalaya gaya. See, we've borne the brunt of all that. More than that, on a serious note, we've borne the brunt of almost all invasions that came through the Khyber Pass. And that's why Punjab is a martial calm. We withstood all that. In spite of all that, the great gurus, the ninth guru.
So the second question, do you think this affinity will carry on to the next generation?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. The acerbic thing that happened, very disparaging to the core. 1947, generations have changed. See, we've come to a different generation. They want peace. And I've been to Pakistan, not once, twice, 4 or 5 times. It's not the people who don't want peace. It's the politician who doesn't want that peace. It's the politician, sir. And it's a game that you keep criticizing them, you keep abusing them, and you keep getting votes. This is not about votes. This is about our cultures. Mere geography. Lina karke tusi economic geography nu change nahi kar sakde paji. Tusi zabana nahi badal sakde. Tusi culture nahi badal sakde. Therefore, peace is the only way forward. Talks are the only way forward. Now I'll give you an example. Jerusalem. There is war happening. Left, right, and center. The Christians go to the Church of Christ. The Jews go to the Wailing Wall. The Muslims go to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And I'm very proud that the government of India sends almost 1 lakh Muslims to pray at the Mecca. Right? The Sikhs have been forbidden to go to their Mecca. This is where Baba Nanak spent 18 years of his life. I'll give my life to open that corridor. I'll give my life to open those borders. If Karachi and Mumbai are open today, why not Lahore and Amritsar? Saab sarkaran nu main udda manu, udo manu sarkaran nu jadon koi saag makki di roti kha ke Amritsarੋਂ Lahore ja ke biryani kha ke wapas mud aauga sham nu udan manu sarkaran nu main.
Navjot, since we're also talking about the book Punjab, Punjabis and Punjabiyat, there is a chapter in the book on understanding Sikh politics. Now, Sir Khushwant Singh mentions 2 problems that the Sikhs and the Punjabis are facing. One is for the Sikhs to have a separate identity and yet retain the kinship with their parent religion. They came out of Hinduism. Now, this is a conflict that they are facing, and a lot of people tend to go a step further and demand a Sikh homeland, a nationhood for the Sikhs. Now, he's been talking about it, and he feels that the onus is on the government of India to break this impasse and negotiate talks and accept some of the demands of the Punjabis and the Sikhs. How do you see this?
Look, I'm an Indian first, and then a Punjabi, right? I cannot even foresee anything of that sort because it impinges and impedes on the Constitution of India. And that is what Punjabiyat stands for. Make no mistake about it. Baba Nanak to Guru Gobind Singh Pacha. They are all one. चारे वर्णा दे लई चारे दरवाजे खुले है दरबार साहब दे. आवाज गूंजदी है उथे पाजी, अव्वल अल्लाह नूर उपाया कुदरत दे सब बंदे, एक नूर ते सब जग उपजा कौन पले को बंदे. मानस की जात सब है एक है पहचान वो. When all mankind is one, when India is one, how can you even think of it?
But how can we move forward to where the situation today is?
We can move forward, 250 times if economic policy is there. If the borders are opened, if the visas are eased out, if people-to-people contact happens, if economic, enhancement. ਜਦੋਂ border खुला सी, when the borders were open, look, this was called the Silken Route. Our ancestors would...
So is your government working towards that?
Look.
Will it take it up with the government of India?
The central government has to take the initiative. I've been shouting horse. And the first time I spoke in the parliament, I said, I hate to scream, I long for peace, but it is the wheel that squeaks that gets the grease. And what did I say over there? I said that, there is not even a quarantine facility at the border. ਤੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਰੀਬ 50,000 ਬੰਦੇ ਮੀਟ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ 20 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ, now this is something that you must actually ponder on. ਅਸੀਂ 20 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਆਰੰਟਾਈਨ ਲਈ 450 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਫਿਰ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ. ਉਦੋਂ ਬੱਕਰਾ 20 ਕਿਲੋ ਦਾ 15 ਦਾ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦਾ. I mean, how can you do that? Actually, how can you have rules that kill a community? How can you have rules which are biased? सरकारें तमाम, फिर ना कहना सिद्धू ने शेर नहीं सुनाया. सरकारें तमाम उम्र यही भूल करती रही. सरकारें तमाम उम्र यही भूल करती रही. धूल उनके चेहरे पे थी और आईने साफ करती रही. Beautiful. That's what it is.
Now we have about 5-7 minutes before we close, so we'll take some questions. Whatever language you wish to ask in, please go ahead.
पाजी 5-7 minutes अरे तो डीजल इंजन गर्म होया.
Incidentally, Navjot has another session tomorrow after lunch. So I think wherever we leave behind today, we can take up tomorrow.
That session is about my life, my experiences, ladies and gentlemen of high esteem. I would share a few experiences that I've had.
Well, that will be tomorrow. Now, any questions there? Yes, please. Yes, please. Please go ahead. Just let the mic come to you, please.
Now I know he's in the opposition.
Does the panel empathize with the current political discourse in Punjab? I mean, it's shifted from the positive development agenda to a more religious agenda.
Very good question.
I mean, we've already borne the brunt many times.
Very good.
And a neighbor is, always happy to fish in troubled waters.
So who would you want to address the question to?
Siddhu Saab and probably ma'am also.
No, that's a very appropriate question. I mean, that's $1 million question that every Punjabi asks, that who's going to pull us out of this quagmire. Am I right? Yes. I mean, you're talking about the resurrection of Punjab, isn't it? Right. Chote Pai Punjabi, Mase Rangar to nahi dawe, Ahmed Shah Abdali to nahi dawe. When Ahmed Shah Abdali used to raid, people used to say, and it's written in these books also, Khada Pita Laheda Baki Ahmed Shahida. I'm coming to the present situation, Paji. I have to make the Bhumika also. It's my way or the highway. I mean, you could be a moderator, right? So it's Bhumika banni hai. If we could get up from there, to cut a long story short, because Paji says so, I respect him, right? To cut a long story short, if Punjab has to actually come back, resurrect, and somebody has to sing the Renaissance song for Punjab, we have to... Paji, hun mainu bol len. Phir tusi rang ch bhang pa rahe ho. Main to tyaar haan Paji, main to kya, main to pakki hu.
Well, we are okay with it. I think there are drinks after this. The choice is yours.
No, it doesn't matter at all. So, now, I'll tell you, see, this is a very, very good question, so I'd like to address it. Right. In the last 10 years, Punjab has been left reeling under a debt of 1,63,000 crores. Am I right?
That's right.
Before that, there was 30,000 crores. The last 1 year that has gone by is another additional 18,000 crores. And at times I ask my good friend Mantri Paji and even the Chief Minister, and during important discussions I tell them that 18 into 5, in the next 5 years, if we leave another 100,000, 1 lakh crore assi chhad gaye, then how are we different? Now I'm addressing the problem. If you have to actually get the income up, the roaring economies of the world over, if you look at the roaring economies, Japan, Germany, America, England, they digressed. They digressed towards the manufacturing sector. Because Punjab does not have, 10 acres, 15 acres of land holdings. Today, I mean, there are 10 lakh people who have 2.5 acres, 3 acres, 4 acres and 5 acres. So those dwellings, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਦੇ ਘਰੇ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਦੁਕਾਨ ਖੁੱਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜੱਟ ਦੇ ਘਰੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੋ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਵੰਡੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. Now that's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. So we have unskilled labor, and that's the big problem. We have unskilled labor, we have semi-skilled labor that can only be assimilated in the manufacturing sector. Until and unless we digress towards the industrialization of Punjab, we cannot progress. It's impossible to even think of. That's one. I'll go to 5 or 6 things. The remedies. So far our remedies have been worse than the illness. And that I categorically say. We have a single window system in Punjab. But behind that single window, there are 56 that open. If somebody applies for an industrial endeavor in Punjab, he will go around for 6 months and he will never be able to solve that jigsaw until unless 10% seva and 90% meva. Right? That has to be solved. We've come out with a new policy. People have to be facilitated. We have to win the trust of the NRI, people who love Punjab, for them to come and invest in Punjab, because that only will actually generate jobs. And as a resurrector, that's one. How can the income improve? Tamil Nadu, at the moment, from its excise policy earns 32,000 crores. 32,000 crores. The Punjabi sukhna lek jini daru pi jande hai. We are actually, our consumption is double. And we earn 5,000 crores. They grow at 15%. Telangana has 17,000 crores. That's one avenue. Sand. People like, Haryana, Telangana, they've got just one river. Just one river. They earn 15,000 crores, 17,000 crores from sand mining. For the last 10 years, we are just earning 30 crores. There are solutions. There are write-ups. We could go up. Let me come to the end.
I think the question was, Navjot, the question was slightly different. I think that's the point. You see, I'll tell you, the question basically was the present politics that is happening in Punjab. It appears that we're going back into the quagmire, and what needs to be done. I think what needs to be done primarily, to address your question directly, then Navjot you can add to it, is that I think the rule of law has to prevail. Let the rule of law prevail, let the guilty be punished, and then the other issues, we can move on to the other issues.
That's what I feel. Drugs and all that, listen, the fear of law, as he says, that's a different aspect. Punjab has to actually gear up, and this nexus which is there between the police, the politician and all those, that has not been cured. And what has not been cured has got to be endured. We are enduring.
Should we take the next question?
Okay.
Yes.
Take it. So
we'll come to you, please. Yes.
Hanji. No, मैं सुन रही है.
Hi, I have a mic. Can I speak?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. My question is a very short one to Kishwar.
I'll come to you.
And my question is, how are you planning to bring your discoveries, which I agree are very important, how are you planning to bring them to the attention of the British in Britain?
Thank you for that. We are, as I just said, that I've written this book, which I do hope is also going to be published in the UK. But apart from that, what we are doing is a series of things, which Siddhu ji also knows about, is that we have set up an exhibition already, which is attracting a lot of people at the Partition Museum itself, where we get a lot of people from all over the world. But this exhibition has been invited, as a matter of fact, to Manchester Museum, where it's going to be set up for almost a whole year, talking about what happened in those terrible 3 to 4 months in Punjab in 1919, including the massacre. It's going to be set up in London. It's also going to be set up in Birmingham. My husband is also organizing a debate in the House of Lords. As you know, that the House of Commons had actually denounced Dyer, but it was the House of Lords which had exonerated him. So being in the House of Lords, he's now organizing a debate there, and hopefully that terrible record will also be rectified. And on that day, on the 13th of April, we are doing a special function in Parliament where all these exhibits will be put up there so that the parliamentarians can themselves see what they did to India. And a lot of them do not know. This is the strange thing, that a lot of the British actually do not know the atrocities that they committed. So we need to make them aware of that.
Yes, please.
Anji, Siddhu sahab, mera ek nikka ja sawal hai. Thanu main ji aaya कहना भी तुसी करतारपुर साहब दिन लांघे ਲਈ ग्राउंड तैयार ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਜਾੜ ਕੇ ਬਣਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਆ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਥੋਪਤੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰੋ ਨਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਾਤਰੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਕਰਤੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਦਫ਼ਤਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਕਰਤੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸੋ
ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਧੋਖਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਭਾਜੀ I mean you see it was a commitment. The Reorganization of Punjab Act 1966 clearly said, and that is how we are different from the other union territories. It clearly said that the officers will be 60-40 ratio. Punjab will always be 60. Now there's been a recent notification from the government of India, which has come in September, and Paji, you would agree on that. And he's one man who's raised it always. That actually intends, under the garb of, softness, intends to take this right away from Punjab by comparing Punjab to the other union territories. Right? Punjab pind ujad ke Punjab baniya, har chithi Punjabi ch likhi jandi si, Punjabi zaban rani si, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪਿੰਡ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਖੋਈ ਫਿਰ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੱਕ ਖੋਏ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ 60-40 ਦੀ ਰੇਸ਼ੋ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਖੋਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਹੋਰ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਟੈਰੀਟਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੰਪੇਅਰ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੋਏ ਸਮਵੇਅਰ ਡਾਊਨ ਦ ਲਾਈਨ you'll have to raise the voice and on a united front. It's not necessary that party politics has to dominate everywhere and you've got to criticize just for the heck of criticizing. So you have a very valid point. We are all with you, and almost every party in unison stands for Punjab and its right over Chandigarh.
Absolutely. I think all parties have raised this issue. Yes, please.
Good evening, esteemed panelists. My name is Akshi. I'm representing the Punjab Public School, Nava.
My school. Thank you.
So, keeping in mind the young generations under Western influence and the exodus of Punjabis from Punjab moving to Canada and other countries, I would like to ask you, as a young member, as a young Punjabi rather, what are your expectations from the young generation who are constantly under the Western influence? How do you expect that they will carry the Punjabiyat?
It's a very good question. I think also, what are you doing? What is your government doing to make sure that they don't have to go for greener pastures abroad?
See, this is the biggest problem that Punjab faces. And young lady, your question bears ample testimony to the fact that in the last year, the IELTS exam, where Punjabis actually want to go abroad, we have actually sold assets worth 67,000 crores. And the fees that we have given foreign universities and foreign schools is 27,000 crores. That means the education system in Punjab will give you degrees but not jobs, right? And you're not talking education, you're talking quality education. Samast unnati ka aadhar hai atmanirbharta. The old good old Vedas saying that शिक्षा काम धेनु गाय है हर इच्छा को पूरा करने वाली ये वो धन है जो विदेशों में भी आपको कोई चुरा नहीं सकता और ये इंसान को आत्मनिर्भर बनाता है. This is what we need to do, because talent is nothing without opportunity. We need to give them opportunities. We need to channelize the energies of the young. I mean, those energies can only be channelized through good policies, through opportunities, through job generation. This is where I was coming from when I was cut short. But anyway, I mean, somewhere down the line, young lady, the opportunities are better over there. But having said that, I'd like to tell you a story. Not all of them that go abroad are happy. I have seen almost 60% of people who leave Punjab have sold 1 or 2 acres of land. They are duped by the operators who actually send them abroad. And when they go abroad, what a normal human being would get for 1 hour, they get 1/3 of that. And you know, my cousin, his son went to England, and I asked him, मैं कहा भाजी की गल बाहर मुंडा भेज रहे हो? ओ मेरा मुंडा तो शाह बन गया। मैं कहा शाह किदां बन गया? वो तो चले इंग्लैंड। मैं कहा जी चलो इंग्लैंड चलो। And his name was Gurjant. Now listen how things come back. So I had to go to England for 6 or 7 days, and I went to the loo in England. As I landed, I went to the loo, and as I was washing my hands, I saw Gurjant right behind me, and he was cleaning the loo. So I went up to him, I touched his shoulder, I said, Gurjant, beta. So he looked at me, he was so baffled, flabbergasted, and he wept. He just kept his head on my shoulders and he wept for 15 to 20 minutes. His Paji, main wapas jana chahna. You know, that's such a sad part of Punjabi life today, that your question really pricks the imagination. Your question is so pertinent. And if there's one question which stands out today, which needs chintan, not chinta. जो समय चिंता में गया वो कूड़ेदान में गया, जो समय चिंतन में गया वो पुण्य की तिजोरी में. It's your question, young lady. God bless you.
Since we've already overshot the time, I think we'll let to end here now.
One question.
We're going to upset the.
Okay, going to upset it. Okay, but I'd just like to.
The program after this.
This is not a question. Actually, it was just.
You can address it tomorrow when
clarifying to Mr. Desai that when she mentioned and you talked about the similarity between 1919 and 1984, it is a subject that we've all been discussing. Kanwar, of course, knows that we've had this long time in Chandigarh. Now, we've always been asking for a white paper or a truth commission or a fact-finding commission. Recently, even Mr. Natwar Singh has come out in his book to say that this was a mistake made by the then Prime Minister. So to say that, the attack on Darbar Sahib is, in a way, justified, is not really correct. I think that we do not get a fact-finding commission on it. Or a truth commission, I don't think we should pass it off by saying that there were people there who had to be flushed out and therefore justify the attack.
I don't think.
Coming down
I don't think Kishwar had said that.
Okay.
She only brought out.